Hi, welcome to the lecture of Audit Documentation. This is based on ISA 230, Audit Documentation. I am Milfred Lopez, lecturer for Auditing and Accounting. The content of our discussion will be nature and purpose of audit documentation, objective of audit documentation, its definition, and requirements. Now, as an auditor, we need the basis of our conclusion. And we have to show that we had planned and performed our work based on standards and other requirements. Additional purposes of documenting our audit is to assist our team in their planning and performance of audit. It also assists for team's supervision and review. It makes the team accountable, and audit documentation can keep records for future reference. It enables quality control reviews within the firm, and even external inspections. Our objectives in documenting our work as an auditor is to have sufficient and appropriate record of the basis for the auditor's report. We need to have evidence on our conclusion. So the audit documentation will be our record of our evidences that we collected. And also, this will be an evidence for our work which is planned and performed in accordance with ISAs and other applicable legal and regulatory requirements. Some terminologies that we need to be mindful of when you talk about audit documentation. This will be record of audit procedures performed. It can be termed also as working papers or work papers. Audit file, these are folders or other storage media containing the audit documentations. It can be either in physical form or electronic. And also, two types of audit file or two major classifications of audit file will be permanent and current file. Permanent file includes records or audit documentations that can be useful not only for this year's or current year's audit, but at the same time, it can be useful for several audits. While current file will include mostly audit documentations that can be useful for the current period audit. Experienced auditor is an individual who has practical audit experience with reasonable understanding of audit process, ISAs, applicable legal and regulatory requirements, entities' business environment, and other audit and financial reporting issues. As an auditor, we need to prepare our work on a timely basis. Form, content, and extent of the audit documentation will include nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures performed, result of audit procedures performed, audit evidence obtained, and significant matters that we have obtained during our audit, including the conclusions and professional judgment made. It is important for us to prepare audit documentation so that an experienced auditor will be having an understanding of what we have done in audit. Examples of audit documentations include audit programs, analysis, issues memoranda, summaries of significant matters, letter of confirmation and representation, checklist, and correspondence that may include or will include significant matters that we have discussed with our client our client had discussed with us. In exceptional circumstances where auditor will depart from the requirement of ISAs, as an auditor, we need to document those departures. This includes alternative procedures performed, how it achieved the aim, and reasons for the departure with ISA. In case that we have discovered or found out matters that may need or may require us to document those circumstances after the audit report's date, we need to update our documentation as it may affect our judgment. The documentations will include circumstances encountered, new or additional procedures that we have performed, audit evidence obtained, conclusion reached, effect on auditor's report, and of course, when and whom the resulting changes to audit documentation were made and reviewed. It should be noted, when we say after the date of auditor's report, it signifies that we have already done the necessary procedures to collect audit evidence. So, which means if you are changing or if you need to change something in your audit documentation after the auditor's report, it means that it is really needed for you to change that because it might affect your previous conclusion. The auditor needs to assemble the audit file, audit documentation, and audit file on a timely basis. This can be done after the date of the auditor's report. Keeping the file should be within the retention period required by law or as imposed by the audit quality control. The auditor shall not delete or discard it before retention period. Now, if there will be issues that might arise that the auditor needs to modify the audit documentation, the auditor shall document this modification of audit documentation, stating the reason why and when and whom they were made and reviewed. That's it for my presentation. Thank you very much for your time.